Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a moment to become nice and comfortable in a seated position on a cushion or a block, towel, something that will allow your spine to stretch up nice and tall, nice and long, opening up your chest and opening up your heart. Oh, and opening up your diaphragm. It's like I knew there were three things there. So let's gently close our eyes and soften our thoughts. Soften our eyes. Soften our shoulders. Soften our heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is the eighth and final limb of the 8 limbs of yoga, and that is Samadhi. Sama in Sanskrit means equal, and di in Sanskrit means to see. So Samadhi is the ability to see equally and to be in the state of equanimity. You lose the duality of life as we know it, the us versus it, and become one. Samadhi lights up your soul. You are liberated from ego and attachment and filled with calm and peacefulness, a peace that surpasses all understanding. So how do we get there? It takes practice and commitment. Almost 2,000 years ago, Patanjali provided the stepping stones. He suggests that practicing dharana, which is the concentrated or prolonged concentration, will mature into dhyana, meditation. And then meditation, dhyana, will mature into samadhi, moving one from the state of doing to a state of being one. This morning's pranayama, I often keep coming back to this one, but it is the most basic, and it's with us all the time. And there is a title to it, Dirga, or complete breath, or also called 3-part breath. And it's a breathing technique that is a conscious and focused breathing technique. With, again, practice and commitment, this Dirga, this complete breath will somehow become your natural breath. It'll just, with that practice and commitment. it'll allow you to breathe fully. And so today we're going to do that again. And I'd like to have you, we'll do this also when we start our asana practice, but with deep inhales through your nose, follow that wave of breath that starts in your stomach and then moves up to your ribs and then moves up to your chest. And then on the exhale through your nose, follow that wave from your chest to your ribs to your stomach. And that three-part stomach, ribs, excuse me, chest, and then from the chest to the ribs to the stomach. And if you'd like to have a mudra to help assist you, you get to discover the name of this mudra. So I'm actually just going to call it the Dirga mudra. So with your hands open, you can feel your breath kind of residing in your chest area. And then if you bring your index finger and your thumb together, you'll feel that kind of then drop down into your ribs, and then bringing your middle finger in to join. So you have those three fingers all touching. It'll actually bring that breath down to your stomach. So it just assists you in achieving that three-part breath. And then we'll take a few moments to meditate. And we spent some time on that last week. And again, if you just continue to focus on your breath, and if your focus on your breath goes to thoughts, there's been a lot of thoughts going on this week, but if it goes to a thought, just gently send that thought into either a cloud or a balloon and let it go. Just let it drift away. And again, there's no judgment. If you are full of thoughts, so be it. If you're able to get a little bit of practice and control over your thoughts by sending them off, letting go basically is a great thing as well. So let's just take a few moments and do our meditation, and I'll meet you on the mat. You may open your eyes now. We'll start our asana practice. Today we're going to start with a few shoulder shrugs. Just kind of relax our upper chest and shoulder area. Maybe a lot of tension was built up there this week. So we'll just kind of gently encourage a little bit of fluidity and mobility into that upper chest area. Moving in one way or the other way. Or you can just move your shoulders up to your ears and then just let them go. Just let them drop, kind of a big shrug. On the inhale and then release on the exhale. Just kind of work toward getting a nice, gentle softness to that upper body. Alrighty, and then sun breaths. We're going to do the Dirga Breath as well. So kind of we're going to raise our hands up, but at the same time kind of focus on your stomach and your ribs and your chest. And inhaling, lifting the arms up from the stomach to the ribs to the chest. And then exhaling from the chest down to the ribs, down to the stomach. We'll do this a few more times. Inhale, 3-part breath. And focus on the exhale, releasing that wave from your chest, down to your ribs, down to your stomach. Inhale up. And exhale down. Inhale up. And exhale down. And one last time, inhale up. And exhale down. We'll bring our right hand to our left kneecap, bringing the left fingertips behind our hips, and turning our torso to the left, setting our eyes on a drishti, a point straight ahead. And then we'll come back to center and take our left hand, placing it on our right knee, right fingertips behind our hips, sending our gaze to the right and focusing straight ahead. And then back to center. I'm going to roll down on the mat. You can roll down whichever way you prefer today, knees bent, knees straight, or express method. I think I'm going to have my legs out straight because we're going to end up in reclined mountain pose. So that's why I'm going to do the straight legs. And I'll just kind of relax my spine down to the mat, trying to hit every vertebra on the way down, coming into reclined mountain pose. My toes are pointing up to the sky. Shoulders nice and snug in the mat. Releasing that shoulder, that weight down into the mat. Then we'll slide the right foot up the inner part of the left leg till it reaches the knee, the left kneecap. And then bringing the right ankle over, resting it on the left leg just above the knee. Legs become a figure four. Oh, relax here for a second. Kind of feel the openness, open hip part of that. We do a lot of open hips. Then slide the left foot up so that it now rests on the mat. And I'm going to bring the left leg up into the air, flex both toes up to the sky. And you can bring your hands around your left thigh and gently guide that left leg toward your chest. Recline pigeon pose. And just breathe a little bit of breaths into any tension you may feel. So when you exhale, kind of send that exhale into any tense part. I can feel it in my hip. Just kind of ease up that tension. And then we'll bring the left foot back down to the mat and slide it all the way down to the bottom of the mat, keeping our right foot on our leg. Then we'll guide our right knee with our left hand, guide it over to the left side of the mat. And you can bring your right arm up into a goalpost if you'd like, or you could just leave it where it is. Creating a nice, gentle twist to your spine. Shoulder blades are still relaxed and roll on softly, resting on the mat. And then we're going to bring the right knee up toward our chest, interlacing our fingers around our right knee. And we're going to flex both feet. Toes are pointing up to the sky. And then send your left foot, with your leg being straight, send your left foot up to the sky. So the sole of your left foot is facing up to the sky. And then send it back down. And then back up again, keeping both toes flexed. And then back down again. And one last time, bringing that left foot up toward the sky, sole facing the sky. And then we're just going to point our left toes to the sky and then flex our foot so the sole's facing the sky. And then point, flex, point, flex, point, flex, point, flex. And you can bring that knee to your chest, give both knees a nice hug, and then we'll send both feet back down to the mat. Come back to reclined mountain pose. We're going to slide the left foot up the inner part of the right leg till it reaches the kneecap. Legs become a nice figure four. Just relax here for a moment. And then bring the left leg up and onto the right leg just above the knee. And then sliding the right foot up so that it is now placed on the mat. And then we're going to lift the right leg up, flexing our toes up to the sky. reclined pigeon, and gently guide that right leg toward your chest. And you may be feeling a little bit of tension in your left leg. And send some deep, nourishing breaths to that leg. And we'll place the right foot back down on the mat, sliding it all the way down to the bottom of the mat, keeping the left foot on the right leg. And then we'll take the left knee and guide it over to the right using your right hand. Do a spinal twist in the other direction. You can have your left arm up in a goalpost, shoulder blades nice and snug in the mat. And then bring that left knee to your chest, interlace your fingers around it, give a nice hug. And flexing both toes up to the sky, we're going to lift the right leg up to the sky. So the sole of the right foot is greeting the sky. And then we'll lower it back down to the mat, keeping both feet flexed. And then we'll lift it up again, up to the sky. And then slowly, with control, lowering it back down. And then one last time, lifting it up toward the sky. And once it reaches the sky, we're going to point our toes and then flex that foot, point, and then flex, point, flex, point, flex, point, flex, point, and flex. And then bring that knee to your chest and give both knees a nice hug. And then we'll slowly roll up. You can roll up from a reclined position using a rock and roll method, or you can roll over to your side, whichever way you'd like to come back up to a seated position. And then we're going to come from the seated position into tabletop. As we mentioned last week, our asana practice can be or is a moving meditation. So focus on your dristis, that focused concentration, the dharana, and, just kind of getting lost in the asana practice itself and letting other thoughts stay off your mat for the time being. So in tabletop, where fingers are spread apart, we're pushing gently down into our hands to create space between our shoulders and our ears. Knees are right below our hips, navel's tucked to the spine. And it's interesting, you think that mountain pose is kind of a balance and connecting and grounding pose, which it is, but I find this pose very grounding. You're actually in contact with the earth more so than just with your feet. So it really is a really nice grounding pose. So we're gently going to turn our head to the right, send our gaze over to the right, and then slowly bring it back to center, and then keep going, turning it to the left, and then gently, just kind of a nice fluid movement, move from the right to center, and then to the left. And sending your gaze to the right, to the center, and to the left as you do that. Finding things to gaze at on the right side, down center, you're gazing at your fingertips or your thumbs, and then over to the left. I have a rainbow on my wall from the prisms that I have hanging in the window. So my left gaze, I can focus on that nice rainbow. And then bring your head back to center. We'll go into cat-cows. So rounding your spine on the exhale, sending your gaze to your navel. And then lifting your head up, sending your gaze straight ahead for cow. And again, exhale, rounding your back, sending your gaze down to your feet, or if you can, to your navel, really rounding your back. And then back up again, sending the gaze straight forward. And having deep inhales and exhales in sync with your movements. And then we'll come back to center. We'll bring both knees together so that they are touching and they're right under our hips. We're going to send our right leg out, keeping both hands down on the mat today. So when you send your right leg out, just kind of check to make sure you're not, tipping yourself up. You want to have your hip bones kind of parallel to the mat. And then with our legs straight out and our toes pointed, we're going to bring that foot toward our hip. So bending the knee, bringing the foot toward the hip, and then extending the foot again. So we're just kind of doing this little kick. So again, bring the foot toward the hip, and then send it out straight. Bring it, bend it toward the hip, out straight, bend, out straight, and bend one last time, out straight, and bring that knee back down to the mat. We'll do that on the other side. So lifting the left leg up, so it's parallel with the hip, and the hip bones are parallel to the mat. We're going to point our toes and then bend our knee, sending that foot toward our hip. Point, and then bend, point, and bend, point, and bend, point, and bend. And you can bring that leg back down. We're going to walk our hands all the way to our sides so that we are resting in hero's pose. So we're kind of sitting on our heels and feeling our spine be nice and long and tall, sending our gaze straight ahead. Then we're going to take our fingertips and reach behind us and just place them on your feet. See where they land on your feet comfortably, opening up our chest, just relaxing our shoulders, letting them gently roll back. And then we're going to walk our fingers down our feet to the point where they are tip to toe. So the tip of your fingertips are touching the tips of your toes. And then we're going to bring our hands all the way down to the mat. So the fingertips now touching the toes and the mat. Bring the rest of your hand all the way down, coming into a modified camel. Again, relaxing your shoulders, creating a nice gentle arc in your back. And then we'll walk our hands back up and then tuck our toes under and walk our hands back so that we are in a squat position. And once our balls of our feet are nice and snug in the mat, we're going to push down and come up to a mountain pose. So with a mountain pose, our toes are going to be along the long side or the straight side of the mat. We'll lift our toes up off the mat, spread them apart as far as you can. Just give them a nice stretch. Bring them back down to the mat, lifting our heels up off the mat. And then bring our heels back down. Just really feel that connection again, that grounding that mountain pose does, that stability, stillness, strength. And then our legs are nice and straight, strong as well. Gentle bend in the knees, navel's tucked to the spine, elongating the back of our spine and back of our neck. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Chin is slightly tucked toward our chest, or toward our neck. Crown of our heads reaching up to the sky. Then take a deep inhale, sweeping our hands all the way up. Big inhale, and then exhale, bringing our hands all the way down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. And just take a quick check-in. So far, so good. Focusing on what's in your mat, on your mat, and nothing else. Then inhale, bringing our hands to our shins, flat back, half forward fold, sending the gaze down. And then sending the crown of our head down toward the mat. So let gravity take over for a moment. And then sweeping our hands all the way up. Nice big inhale as we bring them up overhead. And as we come up overhead, we're going to lift up onto our tippy toes. And do a few sun breaths here. So exhale, slowly lowering your hands down. And as you lower your hands, lowering your heels back down to the mat. Slowly with control. Do that again, sweeping our hands up as we do, slowly coming up onto our tippy toes. And then slowly coming back down with control. And one last time, sweeping up, inhale, up and up and up. And then exhale, slowly coming back down, just like a gentle rain coming back down. And bringing your hands back down to the mat, bending your knees as you go. Then bringing them to your shins on the inhale, flat back, half forward fold. And then setting the crown of your head down toward the mat. Big exhale. And sweeping our hands all the way up again. Up and overhead. Arms coming alongside of our ears. And then bringing the right hand down, we'll do some supported side stretches. Right hand comes down on the right thigh, just as gently sliding it down toward our knee, creating a nice arc. You know, there was a nice crescent moon out this week. It's really pretty earlier in the week. Bringing the hand back up, left hand comes down, creating that crescent moon shape. And then back up again. And last time on the other side, right hand comes down, sliding it down to the right knee, and then back up. And then the left hand comes down, sliding it down to the knee, and then come back up again. We'll bring both hands back down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Bring them to our shin. And then sending the crown of our head down to the mat. And then sweeping our hand, big inhale, coming all the way up. Bringing our hands together overhead. Palms together. Then palms come to heart center. And we're going to do a stretch of our leg. So you can keep, we'll start with the right leg. So we're going to keep our left hand where it is. And this helps with balance. And then we're going to just lift our right leg up. Oops. Try to create that stable balance. And then we're going to bring our right, whoa. Can't talk and chew gum at the same time. All right, let me try this again. Lifting the leg up. Just send the right hand down. It worked in practice. Send the right hand down. I'm gonna get my drishti going here. Okay, got it. Alrighty, so hopefully that went a little smoother for you than me. So we have the right hand encasing the right foot, and gently, just with a few pulses, push down your right foot into your hand. Just some gentle pulses. And then release. And we'll do that on the other side. So inhaling, sweeping our hands up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And then keeping the right hand here, helping with balance, theoretically. Lifting our left leg up. Sending our left hand down our left leg to the foot. Find that drishti. Okay. And then we're going to push down, just a few pulses. Push. Push with our foot into our hand. There we go. Great, and release. So one more inhale, sweep up. Come all the way down, bending your knees as you go. Hands come to your shins, flat back. Gaze is straight down. And then sending the crown of your head down toward the mat. Stretching out, sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And palms will come to the back of your hips. We'll do just a quick, gentle, supported back bend. So our feet are hip width apart, shoulders are relaxed, chin tucked toward your chest, and gently drop your shoulders back, keeping that nice even flow of breath going. Great, and you can come right back up again. Well done, everyone. All right. Now we'll sweep our hands up overhead. And exhale, bringing them down to the mat, placing both hands on the mat. We're going to send our feet back to downward dog. And we'll walk our dog for a few moments here. Fingers are spread nice wide apart, keep gripping the mat. Index finger pointing to the top. We're sending our chest toward our thighs, maybe looking at our navel for that drishti point. Sending our hips up even higher. And then we're going to bring our right leg to our right elbow and then back again and pedal. And then bring the right knee to the right elbow and back again and pedal out. And on this last one, we're going to bring our right foot all the way up into runner's lunge so that it sits on the mat between our hands. So we'll bring that right foot up, coming into runner's lunge. And then we're going to lift up to high lunge. So going from there, you can do it in two parts, resting on your knee, and then come all the way up. Just be here for a moment. And then come back down, both hands on the mat. Right foot goes back to the left foot, and then come into plank pose. So plank pose, shoulders right above your wrists, heels are pushing back, navel's tucked to the spine, and then slowly either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, coming down to the mat. And once you land, send your hands forward, coming into Sphinx. So our left hand, we're gonna take that hand and run it parallel with the short edge of the mat. So it's up above you. We're gonna rest our head on that arm. So just kind of bringing it parallel to the top edge of the mat, resting our forehead on the arm. We're going to then point our right toes, send that right foot back toward our hips, reach around with our right hand, if you can, and grab our toes. And then again, we're gonna send a few little pulses from our foot to our hand. You can grab onto your foot on the inner sole area or the outer edge, whatever works best for you. Just give it a few pulses, pushes with your foot into your hand. And then we'll release, bringing both hands back under the shoulders. We'll gently lift our nose and then our chest, pushing gently into our hands, coming into Cobra. And then keep pushing to tabletop and then down to child's pose. And then come back to tabletop, tuck your toes under, lift your hips up into downward dog again, pedal a little bit. And then slowly walk your feet up to your hands, coming into a forward fold. And then sweeping your hands all the way up to the sky. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. Then we're going to go into tree pose, but we're only going to bring the foot to our calf. Or you can have the toe on the mat and the heel on your ankle. But let's keep it at, below the knee and just focus on the stability in our balance. And then we're going to bring the leg back in front of us, lifting it up, the right leg. And again, grabbing it with our right hand. We're going to bring the hand all the way around to the inner part of our foot. Left hand is still half of Anjali mudra at our chest. And we're going to go into dancer pose. So you can lean forward, send out your left hand, and then send out your leg behind you, kicking it up into the sky. And then release anytime you're ready. And we'll do that all on the other side. So come back to mountain pose. Well done, everyone. Sweeping our hands up overhead. Big inhale, exhale, bringing both hands back down to the mat. Placing them on the mat, sending both legs back to downward dog. And walking our dog for a little bit. And then we'll send our left knee to our left elbow, pushing off of the right toes. And then back again to downward dog. And pedal out. Again, bringing the left knee to the left elbow. And back to downward dog. Pedal out. And then bringing that left foot all the way up between our hands, coming into runner's lunge, and then pushing down to that front foot, coming all the way up to high lunge. We'll just be here a moment. And then back down again, bringing the left foot back to join the right foot, coming into plank pose. And then from plank pose, we're gonna either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, lower ourselves to the mat. Sliding our hands forward into Sphinx. Then we'll take our right hand and bring the arm so it's parallel to the top of the mat, and bringing our forehead down onto that arm. And then with our left toes, we're going to point them and then bring that foot toward our hip. We'll reach around with our left hand and grab that left foot. And just a few pulses here, pushing our foot into our hand. And then releasing the foot, bringing the hands below the shoulders, lifting our nose up, chin up, chest up, coming into cobra. And then up to tabletop and lowering the hips to child's pose. And then coming back up to tabletop, tuck our toes under and come up into downward dog. Hips are up to the sky, pedaling out. And then start your slow walk up the mat till your feet reach your fingertips and you're in a forward fold. And then sweeping your hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And we'll come into tree pose, again, just below the knee, either resting your left foot on your right calf or toe and heel against the ankle. Just to get that balance solidified. And then leaving our right hand in that Patanjali mudra position, we're going to take our left hand, bring it down our left leg onto our foot, and then turning it in onto the inside of the left foot, bringing it to the inside. And we're going to send our right hand forward, pivoting at the waist a little bit, and then send our left foot out and behind us, pushing into our hand, lifting our leg up to the sky. And then releasing. Well done. Okay, bringing our pinky toes to the edges of the mat. Heels are tucked in 45 degrees. Bring our hands to our heart center, Anjali Mudra. And then slowly lowering our hips down toward the mat. Bringing our torso between our legs. Elbows resting on the inner part of our knees. Five-legged squat. And we'll bring our sit bones onto the mat. And you can roll back. I'm going to use the express method for right now. So just roll back down onto the mat, bringing your knees to your chest, giving them a nice hug. We'll be rolling or rocking back and forth, giving your lower back a nice massage. You're making some circles with your toes. And then we're going to bring our hands down our legs to the outer edges of our feet, bringing our soles of our feet up to the sky for happy baby. Bringing our tailbone down to the mat. And just really relaxing in a happy baby pose. And bringing our knees together again, sending our arms out to each side at shoulder height. We'll do some recline twists. So on the exhale, lowering your knees to the right side. And once they land, gently turning your head to the left. Look at your left fingertips. And gently bringing your head back to center, lifting your knees back to center, and then exhaling, lowering your knees over to the left side. And when they've landed, gently turning your head to look at your right fingertips. And then gently rolling your head back to center, lifting your legs back to center. Then slowly sending your feet down to the bottom of the mat, preparing for Shavasana. And send your feet out to each corner. Just let your feet flop open. Let your arms relax alongside of you at an angle, palms facing up. Gaze facing up or eyes closed. Take a big inhale and then just release that exhale, letting your body fold into the mat like it's relaxing into a cloud. And since we're in November, I love reciting the Haudenosaunee Thanksgiving Address, Greetings to the Natural World. So I'll be reading a few excerpts from that over the next couple weeks. Today I'm going to read the first excerpt and the last one. The people. Today we gathered and we see that the cycles of life continue. We have been given the duty to live in balance and harmony with each other and all living things. So now we bring our minds together as one, as we give greetings and thanks to each other as people. Now our minds are one. The Creator. Now we turn our thoughts to the Creator, or Great Spirit, and send greetings and thanks for all the gifts of creation. Everything we need to live a good life is here on this Mother Earth. For all the love that is still around us, we gather our minds together as one and send our choicest words of greetings and thanks to the Creator. Now our minds are one.